Hey, what's going on, folks at home? This is Matthew here, host of the Hooked on Jesus podcast. Just wanted to let you guys know that the episode is divided into two parts. Now, you're getting both portions here on this video or on this audio, wherever you're listening, whether it be on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, or Apple Podcast. Yeah, you'll be getting both portions here. However, the first part is both me and Jeremiah. We're continuing on in our study in the book of Matthew, of course. And the second portion is going to be solo for me because we've had so many technical difficulties trying to figure out how to record him being at home and me being here in my house. So that's why that's a solo portion, kind of the short story end of it. Anywho, another disclaimer. In the first, I think probably about, first couple minutes, I'd say 4 to 5 minutes ish, in the first portion, the video is a little bit jumpy, and I will say the audio problem for the podcast still continues with like sensitivity and all that. Even sitting here messing with it here on OBS, I still cannot figure out for the life of me how to fix it. So, anywho, other than that, I hope y'all enjoy the rest of the episode, and I'll see you guys then. Hey, what's going on, folks at home? My name is Matthew, and welcome to the Hooked on Jesus podcast. Feel free to stick around for the Bible studies, funny stories, and cool discussions that we have here on each episode of the podcast. In the previous episode, it was another solo endeavor, if I'm correct, on the book of Matthew, chapter 12. Now, in this episode, we have a very frequent guest, but actually, he's here in person.
Yeah, no, it's kind of wild.
Tell him who you are.
I'm Jeremiah. I'm
AKA.
I am Mr. Walrus. Y'all have heard me on the podcast twice now, I think, maybe 3 times. But this is me in person. Yeah, so I'm a blonde-haired, blue-eyed little baby boy. Any women out there that are Christian and single,
Oh my goodness gracious.
my number will be in the description. I'm kidding. My
You're
Instagram
fine.
will though. Anyway, so I'm Jeremiah, and this is my buddy Matt. He's the host of this podcast, but I've been really wanting to.
As y'all have already been introduced.
I've really wanted,
Yeah.
really wanted to be able to kind of click into this like in live, but I really haven't felt the necessary.
He claims it's because he's ugly.
Don't say that. Don't
and
expose me like
For
that.
the folks sitting here watching at home and you're on YouTube or Spotify, I bought a new video camera and it has this autofocus feature that I'm gonna have to fix for sure.
Yeah, no. Also, when I'm not looking at the camera, guys, I look like a toad. Anyway, y'all wanna get ready for this? Y'all wanna do this or what? Let's do it.
So yeah, in the previous episode, as I said, I went ahead and went over Matthew chapter 12. So one thing that we always do here on podcast episodes is there is a specific chapter in the specific book of the Bible that we read, and the version I like to use because it is a little bit easier for y'all to read.
Kinda wish I brought mine.
The New International Version.
don't have mine,
It's
though.
upside down. Apologies, folks at home. And what are you doing? Oh no, he's going into my fridge for his muscle milk.
Yeah, muscle milk.
I'm putting that in the title.
There's muscle.
Jeremiah likes
Now
the
with muscle milk. Hooked on Jesus podcast.
No, that ain't.
Wait,
Hey,
where's the
sponsor-
cover
I'm
on
just
it?
kidding. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be such a long episode.
That's better.
Tastes a lot better whenever it's cold, ain't it?
It's way better.
Much better, he says.
I don't like it warm. Just like you wouldn't
don't
like,
like it
just
warm?
like you wouldn't like warm milk, but some people
Oh heck no, because that mess gets.
some
curdled
people
fast.
use it for like bed, but like I wouldn't.
For bed. That's
Yeah, like to warm it up in the microwave, literally.
that's nasty.
Yeah, it's gross. It's gross. I don't like it.
Look, I understand that whenever you milk a cow, it comes out hot. Usually.
Wow, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fun fact.
Fun fact, yeah.
The more you know. Cue the
Bom,
the more you know thing
bom,
on the
bom.
screen. But So fun fact: whenever you milk a cow or a goat or whatever you can milk, it comes out as warm or hot milk.
That's crazy.
What are we whispering?
I don't know. I just felt like throwing it in there.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right.
So we are now gonna get into the
Who's
kind of.
gonna read?
Who's gonna read? Would you
I
like to
wouldn't
read?
mind reading. I think it'd be cool.
Or would you want?
I want to read.
I don't mind.
I want to be
You wanna read?
educated on
You want to be educated?
educated on the Bible.
Hashtag get
Just
educated.
hashtag get educated on the word of Jesus Christ.
Hashtag get educated with Jesus.
Amen. All right, let's do this.
Make that a hashtag, folks.
The new
Um,
hashtag is educated with Jesus Christ.
So yeah,
Go. Let's do this.
again, the chapter that we are going to be going over is Matthew chapter
Can
13.
y'all still hear me like this? If I was to like throw my head up here and read from here, or do y'all want? Me
Well, you can hold it
maybe I
open,
could do that.
probably.
There we go. That works.
Yeah,
That
that's
works.
better.
All right.
That's interesting. Putting the microphone on God's word. That's
Is that
interesting.
bad?
I
I don't know. That's like putting your hand on the Bible or like burning a Bible, right? You would
I
never
don't
burn
know.
a Bible. You would never
No,
put.
heck no.
Anyway.
No, I wouldn't.
Lord have mercy, I
Whatever.
lost it.
Woo! He lost the page,
That's
everybody.
Jesus saying.
Having some technical
Wait, what book
difficulties
are we
here.
doing?
Matthew chapter
Matthew.
13.
You get it, please.
I'm gonna fix it for
This
you.
is
Quick.
crazy. I feel like an invalid. Y'all know what an invalid is? Fun fact of the day.
There's no need to. There's no need to explain.
Fun
what an
fact of
invalid
the
is.
day,
I'm
they
pretty
don't
sure
move.
self-explanatory. Well, that's
We already
paralytic.
went
And we
over
already
that
went over that
in
in a previous episode.
They should do it previously on.
How are you putting your mouth to the microphone?
No, y'all should edit a previously on. Previously on Hooked on Jesus podcast.
Well, yeah, that's why I say the script.
Oh, that's sick. Okay,
I
anyway.
say previously on this the last
Okay,
episode.
alright.
Is what I say.
All
All right, so
we're gonna read
what is the first section of the
It's a
chapter
parable.
titled, good sir? The parable
the
of.
sower. What's a sower, guys?
Okay.
Write in the comments. Question of the day. What's a sower in the comments?
You should know this by the end of the
Yes.
episode.
All
Hopefully,
right.
if we're not messing around too much.
All right. So the same day, Jesus went out of the house and sat by the lake. Such large crowds gathered. Hold on. Such large crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat in it. What are you doing?
I'm pulling it up on my phone.
Okay.
I'm muting my microphone so they can hear you.
Wait, sat in it while all the people stood on the shore. Then he told them, while all the people while all the
You're good. Continue.
Okay, fine, we're just doing this one. While all the people stood on the shore. Then he told them many things in parables, saying, A farmer went out
So it's
to sow his seed. What's a sower? Comment below. As he was scattering the seed, wait, is this the one that? Oh, I know what this is. But when the sun, he was scattering the seed. Some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among the thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on the good soil, where it produced a crop, 160 or 30 times what was sown. Whoever has ears, let him hear. The disciples came to him and asked, Why do you speak to the people in parables? He replied, Because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever has will. What's up?
So for those of you sitting here watching on either Spotify or YouTube, I'm reading the Bible via the Bible app. Hey, look, you can see us on the screen. Oh,
Bro, that's crazy.
But
Yeah,
I'm sitting here using the Bible app to read because he's currently using my other NIV Bible.
Wow.
All right, continue in verse 11. Was it?
Oh, let me
You don't need it that close.
let me figure it out.
You're good.
Yeah,
You're
it's
good.
verse 10. The disciples came to him and asked, Why do you speak to the people in parables? Verse 11, I'm sorry. He replied, Because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. This is why I speak to them in parables. Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. In them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. You will be ever hearing, but never understanding. You will be ever seeing, but never perceiving. For this people's heart has become calloused, for they hardly hear with their ears, and they have closed their eyes. Otherwise they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and I would heal them. But blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. For truly I tell you, many prophets and righteous people long to see what you see, but did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it.
One good thing to do too is make sure you look at the camera while you're reading. Just so
What? So like I go, whoa!
Yeah, so
That's
Yeah,
gonna be
so
edited
like
out.
if you're looking at the camera like kind of whilst reading, it kind of engages with them more.
Okay, we're gonna figure this out. All right, let me see if I can figure this out. Let me finish it. Hi, y'all. Okay, the parable. Oh, there's a bunch of parables in this.
for truly I tell you.
For truly, I.
Listen.
For truly, I tell you, many prophet. Listen then to what the parables of the sower means. When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in their seed, falling on rocky ground. What was sown in their heart, bro? This is so confusing sometimes. I'm gonna figure this out one day. Sows in their heart. Sows in their heart. Where's heart? There it is. This is the seed sown along the path. The seed falling on rocky ground refers to someone who hears the words at once, receives it immediately, receives it with joy. That's what I'm saying.
That's exactly what it's.
But since they have no root, they last only a short time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. The seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the words. But the words of this life. The words of this life. I'm sorry, guys. Huh?
I'm gonna zoom in.
Alright. He's making fun of me, y'all. Alright, anyway. The seed
We do
falling
this
up.
about every time we talk to each other.
Yeah, it
so
is. It really
it's
is.
okay.
Yeah, genuinely. Yeah. Where? What verse?
Verse 22, the seed falling among.
The seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the word, but the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word. Y'all hear that? Deceitfulness of life and wealth.
Deceitfulness of
Vote, please.
choke.
Vote, please.
Why are we getting political now? What? That was kind of.
That was out of pocket. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, all right. Hey, look.
Please
it's
pray for Jesus Christ. I mean, pray for our country. We needed Jesus.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
All right.
That's just genuine fact. Anyway,
That is true. That is true. We do need to be praying for our country.
Alright, so.
All right, so verse
23.
23, sir.
but the seed falling on good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. That's what we really need to go for. This is the one who produces a crop yielding 160 or 30 times what was sown. The parable of the weeds.
All right, so the next section is titled "The Parable of the Weeds." As
You want to have it?
said.
Here.
No.
No,
no,
please
I-
go
I
at
have
it.
it on
I'll
here.
be sidelined conversation at this point.
You want me
Yes,
to?
because I am not good at reading and looking at a camera. I can do that. Okay, hey, what's up, guys?
Okay, nothing.
Wait, hold on. Y'all.
Okay, so where are we at? Parable of the mustard
we're
seed. Right.
the parable of the weeds. Jesus told them another parable.
Jesus told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while everyone who was sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. When the wheat sprouted
and formed
and
heads,
formed heads,
then the weeds.
then the weeds also appeared.
The
The owner's servants came to him and said, Sir, didn't you sow good seed in your field? Where then did the seeds come from? An enemy did this, he replied. What are
I'm
you doing?
putting the phone up so that I can like actually look at the camera.
Oh, okay. The servant asked him, Do you want us to go and pull them up? No, he answered, because while you are pulling the weeds, you may uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. At that time, I will tell the harvesters, First collect the weeds and tie them in bundles to be burned. Then gather the wheat and bring it to my barn. And this next section is titled The Parables of the Mustard Seed and the Yeast.
Can I use your phone and read off of it?
You're reading it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So this next title, this next section is
The Parables of the Mustard Seed and
Yep.
Yeast.
he
Go
told them another parable, as he would. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds come and perch in its branches. He told them still another Oh, there's another one.
He told them still another parable.
The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into about 60 pounds of flour until worked all through the dough. Jesus spoke all these things to the crowd in parables. He did not say anything to them without using a parable. So was fulfilled what was spoken through the prophet. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things hidden since the creation of the world. The parable of the weeds explained.
Can I read this?
Can.
Alrighty. So, again, like he said, it is the parable of the weeds explained. Then he left the crowd and went into the house. His disciples came to him and said, Explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field. He answered, The one who sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed stands for the people of the kingdom. The weeds, are the people of the evil one, and the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels. As the weeds are pulled up and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil. They will throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Weeping and gnashing of teeth was actually mentioned in another episode. I believe that was
I think I
episode
was
5?
on that episode too, actually.
episode 5 was a solo.
No, I think I remember we talked about the whole weeping and gnashing of
Oh
teeth
yeah, what I
together.
think it was like what
Episode 3?
Episode 3
Maybe.
maybe. Yeah. Go check out episode
3, 5, and 7. Are we on 7?
No, this is
10?
episode 9.
Wow, dude, you've been doing this for
We're 9
9
episodes in.
episodes?
Uh-huh. All right, let's continue.
Okay.
So, Son of Man will send out. Yeah, I already said that. Okay, in the furnace. Okay. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. This is verse 43. Whoever has ears, let them hear. The parables of the hidden treasure and the pearl. And this starts at verse 44 for you folks at home still listening.
Still listening. You have faith in them or not?
I do.
Okay.
Remember, you know how small this is,
Yeah,
right?
I'm aware.
It's kind of
What?
essential to
You know
keep
what though?
everybody-
Maybe we'll grow. Maybe you'll grow like a few thousand in the next week. God can do amazing things, man.
That is true.
God can do some crazy.
Do I think it'll happen? Probably,
Probably not, but
But if he's surprised me before.
that's amazing.
All right, so verse 44 says this. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again. And then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. Next parable is the parable of the net. This starts in verse 47 for you folks keeping track. Once again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was let down into the lake and caught all kinds of fish. When it was full, the fishermen pulled it up on the shore. When they sat down and collected the good fishing basket, excuse me, that's burped, but threw the bad away. This is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come and separate the wicked from the righteous, and throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Have you understood all these things? Jesus asked. Yes, they replied. He said to them, therefore, every teacher of the law who has become a disciple in the kingdom of heaven is like the owner of a house who brings out of his storeroom new treasures as well as old. Next.
Lex.
That's
totally what
totally
he
the
meant.
correct word I'm looking for. Add that to the Hooked on Jesus podcast dictionary.
The bloopers.
The next and final section of this chapter is a prophet without honor. When Jesus had finished these parables, he moved on from there, coming to his hometown. He began teaching the people in their synagogue, and they were amazed. Where did this man get this wisdom and these miraculous powers? They asked. Isn't this the carpenter's son?
He is.
Isn't his mother's name Mary, and aren't his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas?
She is, and yes, he is. Yes, they are.
Aren't all his brothers with us?
Jesus
Where
had
then did
brothers?
this man get all these things? And they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, hold on a second. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor except in his own hometown, and in his own home. And he did not do so many miracles there because of their lack of faith.
Jesus had brothers.
We're gonna do a little bit of a jump cut for you folks at
Yo,
home.
he gotta kick me out, man.
I'm gonna I gotta kick you out because you're supposed to go home here at 9:30, and it's 9:30.
Yeah, so that means the next
So,
time y'all see me,
What-
I won't have
how
these
should I
on.
make you go away?
I may not even have a shirt on. I don't know what y'all
Should I
talking
just snap you away? Like,
about. Yeah, do it.
like,
3, 2, 1.
All right, so now we have moved on to the second portion of the episode, which, like I said at the right before the episode actually started, that this episode was going to be split into two parts, and this is the second part where it's just me, because as I'm pretty sure I said in the clip, that was over 2 months ago whenever I recorded the first clip. Excuse the voice crack. So yeah, continuing on. So now we are moving on to the discussion portion of the episode, which, as y'all have already heard, we have just finished the reading portion of the episode, where we went through chapter 13 of the book of Matthew and read things such as like the parable of the weeds, parable of the sower, a prophet without honor, and so on and so forth. So what is this discussion part about? So this discussion part is where either if it's in a solo episode, I will explain to you kind of what's going on. You know, gonna be I guess a interpreter maybe. I think that's the correct word I'm looking for. Yeah, I think it's interpreter, where I'll go ahead and interpret the sections and be basically rereading them to you. I think it kind of works as like a commit to memory kind of thing, you know, because reading things more than just one time definitely helps with your memory. That's for sure. So, starting back up at the top of chapter 13, which again, as Jeremiah had stated earlier whenever he was reading, is the parable of the sower. Of course, it starts off, you know, talking about how Jesus went out of the house and sat by the lake, and then large crowds had gathered around him and sat in it, while all the people stood on the shore. Then he told them many things in parables, saying, a farmer went out to sow his seed. So it's kind of like he's telling. So a parable is kind of like a way of telling a story to bring upon a lesson that he was trying to teach the crowds that had gathered there around him. And this parable was, a farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. So some of the seed, you know, they got eaten up by birds. They weren't able to root and grow. And then some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil, and it sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But then when the sun came up, it says that the plants were scorched and they withered because they had no root. So, much like the birds, eating the other seeds, those seeds didn't exactly survive where they were planted because it was a rocky place and there wasn't very much soil, and the sunlight burned them up pretty quickly. And they also withered away. Other seeds fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. So, so, again, much like the other ones, those seeds fell in a bad place where they could not grow, where they could not be nurtured. They were instead choked out by the thorns which grew over them. And I guess essentially what Christ is saying is basically covered over top of them so that way they could not get any nutrients from the sun like they needed in order to go through photosynthesis. Man, we're doing lots of more moments in this. Cue it again. um but yeah, so and then in verse 8 it says, still other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop 160 or 30 times what was sown. Whoever has ears, let them hear. So I think what Christ is trying to say in this parable is, be sure to plant seeds. So, here's an example of this. I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine who lives a couple hours away from me. And while we were playing a game, we were just sitting there talking about random stuff. And then we kind of got into the topic of, I think it was science and God. And science typically goes against all the religious stuff. And I'm like, actually, that's surprisingly, that though it may surprise you, it's actually not true. Science actually points towards a creator of the universe because of how diverse and how complex everything is around us. So, like, I mean, a lot of the world right now currently believes in, oh, a random dice was rolled and boom, the universe appeared out of nowhere. That just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't exactly know who came up with that exactly. I'd have to do a little bit more research, but I just don't think it's a very smart explanation for just everything that's around us and how we get the ideas to do things like make a guitar or create artificial lighting. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, so as I continued on in the conversation, I started talking about how people want to try and go against all the things that science actually says, by saying, "Oh no, science proves evolution, science proves this, science proves that." You get the spiel. Um, but like I said, instead points to there being a creator of the universe. And what I was doing there, I was like, there's the world's constantly trying to disprove, what God is and what God does, if he exists or not. They try every time they'll say, "Oh, he doesn't exist." And a lot of times from what I've seen is you'll find a whole lot of atheists who are mad at God and they're like, "No, I don't believe in a creator," but yet they're mad at something that they believe is fictitious or not fictitious, excuse me, fictional. My apologies. um, but yeah, that's kind of from my experiences. I've experienced a lot of people like that, where where'd my necklace go? Oh, oh, I have a new cross 3 nail cross necklace. I'll probably zoom in editing, but yeah. The point is, what I did there was I kind of tried to show him. I tried to be a light to him because as he told me during our conversation, he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm not really religious. And I was like, okay, well, here's the thing. It's not really about, being in a religion kind of thing. It's more of wanting to have a creator, or excuse me, I worded that wrong. It's more of wanting to have a relationship with the creator of the universe, who created everything that we see around here, this entire planet, and as well as all the other planets in space, the entire universe. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I did what Christ would call planting a seed. So planting a seed is kind of like, hey, showing people what the truth is. And so basically you plant a seed, give them, be like, hey, you know, not everything that you're being told is exactly true. So you hope that, it grows their curiosity. That's why it's called planting a seed, because, you plant the seed in a good place and then it starts to grow, you know? And much like the seed, a seed will grow whenever it's nurtured correctly, so will someone's curiosity. So yeah, that kind of I'm hoping that clears things up on what it means to plant a seed. Anywho, so continuing on, so he said again, he says in verse 9, whoever has ears, let them hear. So what he's saying here is, whoever is willing to listen to the message, let them listen to the message. And then it continues on in verse 10 saying, the disciples, love slurs, or not slurs, flubs. The disciples came to him and asked, why do you speak to the people in parables? And then it continues on, saying, where he says, because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. This is why I speak to them in parables. And it would appear he spoke to the disciples in a parable, or at least that's what I believe. Where he's like, yeah, if they whoever has will whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. So whoever has like knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven will be given more. I think that's what he is saying, and that they will have an abundance. And then and I believe what he's saying is, whoever does not have any of the secrets of the kingdom, you know, of course, being given by Christ himself, will, they will have whatever that they have taken from them. And then he says, this is why I speak to them in parables. Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. In them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. Excuse me. You will be ever hearing but never understanding. You will be ever seeing but never perceiving. For this people's heart has become calloused. They hardly hear with their ears, and they have closed their eyes. That means they're not willing to, you know, look around and try and find, evidence stuff and all that, or I guess other people would say proof of God's existence and all this, and that he's actually here, and they aren't willing to listen to conversations. You'll find that out with a lot of other people as well that are not of the Christian faith. Is I say a lot. I didn't say all. I say this from my experience. I don't mean this to be rude to anybody. I say this from my experience, where a lot of atheists, a lot of Muslims, a lot of Hindus, and all this are not willing to listen to what Christians have to say, because what the Bible says, is true. Now is this like a perfect, God's word? No, this is not perfect. Who the heck says we're perfect? Um, but yeah, he's just saying that there's so many people have been who have hardened their hearts to God, and are not willing to listen or look and see what God can do in order to try and have a relationship with Him, is the point. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and I would heal them. So yeah, if there's so many people hadn't hardened their hearts towards God, then they would be willing to hear, and see and understand what God is trying to do for us. And then he continues on saying in verse 16, "But blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. For truly I tell you, many prophets and righteous people longed to see what you see, but did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it." So I think who he's referring to is the Pharisees, which we have addressed who the Pharisees are in a previous. Oh gosh, which episode was it? I don't remember. So I would just suggest kind of looking through and figuring out uh which episode I talked about Pharisees in. But he's saying like those righteous people long to see it, but they didn't see it because as it was prophesied years before Christ, many years before Christ's coming, it was prophesied that they would not believe it was him, and that's what ended up happening is during the time Pharisees didn't believe, oh no, he's not the Christ. He's not the Jewish Messiah. He's not going to save the Jews and the Gentiles from nothing. He's just a carpenter. He ain't going to save nobody from nothing. He's just doing this because he wants fame, is what they thought. And then he continues on in verse 18 saying, "Listen then to what the parable of the sower means. When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in their heart. This is the seed sown along the path. The seed falling on rocky ground refers to someone who hears the word and at once receives it with joy. But since they have no root, they only last for a short time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. The seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the word, but the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, making it unfruitful. But the seed falling on good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. This is the one who produces a crop yielding 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown." So yeah, in that little section of the portion of the chapter, Christ was going ahead and breaking down for the disciples what the parable actually meant. Now, was I off? Yeah, I'll admit it. I was pretty off whenever it came to that. But now, was I going in the right direction? Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure I did because I thought, hey, it's so if this kind of represents this and this represents that. That's kind of I gave my thoughts on it, and then I got the right answer because I got the correct answer. Or, excuse me. This sounds like I'm in school telling you, oh, you got to get the correct answer all the time. No, let me tell you something. We're all imperfect, no matter what anybody tells you. So you're gonna get something wrong at some point in time. But yeah, I mean, was I off? Yeah, I mean, I wasn't word for word for it, but I think I kind of got the gist of it, thankfully. Okay, so then he continues giving parables, and as Jeremiah had already read, it was a parable of the weeds. This one's a pretty short one, where he talks about a man sowing good seed in his field, and then while he was sleeping, his enemy came and put weeds all in his field, in the wheat seeds. And it says, when the wheat sprouted from heads, then the weeds also appeared. Then the owner's servants were like, "Didn't you sow good seed in your field? Where then did these random weeds come from?" And then the farmer's like, "Yeah, I know who did this. It was the enemy who did an enemy who did this." And then the servants are like, "Yeah, you know what? Do you want us to just go pull them up for you?" And then farmer's like, "No, because while you're pulling up the weeds, you'll uproot the wheat with them. Weeds and wheat, very similar words." And then he's like, let both of them grow until the harvest. At that time I will tell the harvesters, first collect the weeds and tie them in bundles to be burned, then gather the wheat and bring it into my barn. I think what okay, here I'm gonna give y'all what I think. I'm pretty sure it mean I'm gonna interpret it the way I am thinking. I'm pretty sure what it means is like he's like, okay, let the good and evil that's going on continue on until it is my time to come back for that second time. So that whenever the time comes and all of, all of my servants have flourished and all that, and all of the evil stuff of the war of Satan and the world and all that have also, fully grown, that I may take the bad stuff, throw it in the fire, take the good stuff, and keep it with me. I think that's what he's saying here. And then the next parables, it says the parables of the mustard seed and the yeast, where he talks about the kingdom of heaven being like a mustard seed. So he uses a simile here, which simile means using the words like or as. I'll go ahead and put a definition. Let's see, right here for y'all. I'll use the Official Dictionary, like the source or something, right there. That's what simile means. And then he says, though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree, so that birds may come and perch in its branches. And then he goes on with the next parable, which, as the title of the section suggests, which is about yeast. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into about 60 pounds of flour until it worked all through the dough. Yes, I say flour. It's almost like I grew up in the South or something. Um, until it worked all through the dough. Jesus spoke all these things to the crowd in parables. He did not say anything to them without using a parable. So he wasn't telling these things to the people straight up. Or I mean, no, he was telling them straight up, just in a way that the folks of the world did not understand, because they did not have their eyes open to see and their ears open to hear, because they had hardened their heart to God. And then and then it says, so was fulfilled what was spoken through the prophet. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things hidden since the creation of the world. In the next section, he explains a parable of the weeds, as the title suggests of the section. And then the disciples are like, okay, explain to us what the parable of the weeds in the field means. And he says, the one who sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. So he's talking about himself. The field is the world, and the good seed stands for the people of the kingdom. So the kingdom of heaven. The weeds are the people of the evil one. So like folks who do not follow Christ, or demons, or Satan himself. He's also a weed. And it says, and the enemy who sows him, like I said, is the devil. The harvest is the end of age. That's cool. And the harvesters are angels. And he continues on in verse 40, saying, as the weeds are pulled up and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of age. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil. They will throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Whoever has ears, let them hear. Excuse me, I burped again. um. So yeah, I think that one I did better on, personally. I think I was closer to the right answer on that one than I was with the previous uh one that he explained, which was see, parable of the sower. That's the one. Parable of the sower. I think I did better on the parable of the weeds than I did with the parable of the sower. That's what I think I did. Okay, so he now he now gives some more parables. So what it seems to be is this chapter of the Bible seems to be a little bit more about the different kinds of parables that Matthew the tax collector had written down, um, that had occurred, that Jesus had spoken of during Matthew's experience of, being around Christ whenever he was alive and all that fun stuff. So next is the parables of the hidden treasure and the pearl. This one's like real short. Kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had, and he bought that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. I think what this one's saying here is I think what Christ is saying here in the first parable and both those parables really is he's like, oh, the man found out what joy it is to the man, finds what joy it is to become a part of the kingdom of heaven, like, because you get, things like eternal life. You get to hang out with the creator of the universe for all eternity if, you choose to follow him. Like I said, everlasting life. You get to go to the new heaven and a new earth. Like, why wouldn't you want that? Of course, I am a follower of Christ, so of course that's going to be my opinion. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're kind of on the same topic whenever it comes to that. Next parable he speaks of is the parable of the net. And then he continues on in verse 47 saying, "Once again the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was let down into the lake and caught all kinds of fish. When it was full, the fishermen pulled it up on the shore. Then they sat down and collected the good fish in baskets and threw the bad away." Okay, this one seems to be sounding similar to the parable of the weeds, where the farmer had his harvesters go out and pull out both the good and the bad stuff, and threw all the weeds to be thrown away and burned, bundled up together to make sure they didn't stay in the field, but then kept all the wheat and the good stuff with him. Okay, and then he continues on in verse 49 saying, "This is how it will be at the end of the age. Angels will come and separate the wicked from the righteous and throw them into the burning furnace where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Aha! There's weeping and gnashing of teeth again, just like we read the first time. Then, right here in verse 51, Christ says, "Have you understood all these things?" And then the disciples reply, "Yes." And then he says to them in verse 52, "Therefore, every teacher of the law who has become a disciple in the kingdom of heaven is like the owner of a house who brings out of his storeroom new treasures as well as the old." Now, here in verse 52, I'm not exactly sure what that means. So, if y'all have any, kind of, good ideas on what it could be, let me know in the comment section down below. I want to know because, like I said, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. And I just am genuinely curious and would like to know. Now, and let me read this for a moment. Okay. Next section is titled "A Prophet Without Honor." When Jesus had finished these parables, he moved on from there, and then says, coming to his hometown, he began teaching the people in their synagogue, and they were amazed. Where did this man get this wisdom and these miraculous powers? So they're like, where did all these miracles come from? Where did all these parables and such wisdom come from? And then some of them were like, isn't this the carpenter's son? Isn't it his mother named Mary, and aren't his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? Aren't all his sisters with us? Where then did this man get all these things? And they took offense at him. So there were some folks that weren't exactly happy that he had all this wisdom and could perform all the miracles that he could. I'm assuming they're probably the Pharisees. I'm assuming maybe they're followers of other stuff. I'm not sure. And then Christ says to them, "A prophet is not without honor except in his own town and in his own home." And he did not. And then it says, "And he did not do many miracles there because of their lack of faith." So he went to his own hometown. My apologies. This headphone cord is giving me trouble. Hit the microphone too while I'm at it. So he's like, I might as well not do anything here because, ain't every time I do all these things in front of you, you don't listen to me anyway. And again, I know I keep saying these kind of things, but I tell you because it's stuff that I've experienced and I'm trying to help y'all. There's going to be folks who see all these things and hear all these things, but yet don't want to go that way anyway. Here's an example. You can go over to Cliff. I don't. Gosh, if y'all are Christian or whatever, or if y'all follow along with some of the Christian media, Cliff Knechtle or Netchell or however you pronounce it, he's a pretty good dude. He and as well as his son Stuart go to college campuses to answer questions and all that fun stuff, and as well as spread the gospel to college students, which I think is pretty cool. And a lot of times I've seen, and here I'll give an example. There was, I think this was it when this is a clip. There was a clip of where Stewart was talking to a Hindu college student, where the Hindu student just did not want to hear anything that he had to say and kept interrupting over and over and over. Y'all can go ahead and search it up. Be like, Stewart college Texas Hindu student wouldn't shut up. I don't know. Something like that. But where the Hindu student wouldn't listen for a darn thing that Stewart had to say. And he's like, and then Stewart's like, yeah, of course you're here for that. That's all you want to do. You just want to sit here and bash other people and not hear anything that anybody else has to say that differs from your opinion. Which, again, if you watch a clip, that's exactly what the student was doing. He was not wanting to listen to a single thing that anybody else that had a differing opinion had to say. And he kept trying to get in the face of the camera and all this. It's like, dude. And then the person holding the camera had to move away because he kept getting right in the cameraman's face or whatever. But yeah, you're gonna see those kinds of people. And yeah, so he's like, yeah, if y'all ain't gonna listen to a darn thing I say, I'm just gonna go elsewhere. So he didn't perform any miracles there. But yeah, that's actually the last section of the chapter. Yeah, be sure to let us know what y'all think of the book of Matthew chapter 13. I mean, I think it's pretty interesting how Christ actually goes to his disciples and like, okay, here's how this parable goes. Here's how that parable goes. I think it's actually pretty cool because it helps other people understand, and much like I stated earlier, shed some light on things so that way some seeds can be planted for those who are not followers. I think he does a perfect job of that because he is Christ after all. But yeah, again, let me know what y'all thought of that. I want to know. But yeah, so that's actually the end of the discussion portion. So yeah, the reading and discussion portion is typically like one big giant section kind of thing. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and apologize for not having this up as I said I would the past couple of times because I said it would be up today at 5 p.m. I'm sitting here looking at my clock where it is 11:18 p.m. that I'm getting this recorded. So again, I sincerely apologize. I've been getting distracted with a lot of things lately, both good and bad. So life does happen. However, it's not an excuse. So here I am. here I am for y'all to hear and for y'all to see. So I kind of have a little special announcement for y'all. So for this week and this week only, there is actually going to be another episode upload that is going to be uploaded on the 4th of this month. So yeah, we're starting off this year with 2 episodes. I'm going to be going ahead and I'm going to do what I can to record episode 10 tomorrow. So that is where we will be diving into Matthew chapter 14. Continuing on in the book of Matthew until we go ahead and get it finished. And then from there, I'm not really sure what book we'll do next. We may just start hopping around in different books instead of going through the book, reading every chapter, every episode. I don't know. Let me know what y'all want to see. If y'all want to continue seeing me and as well as other guests that come on the podcast, read every chapter of a book until it's finished and then pick another one, or if you just want to hop around different books, get all kind of different kinds of biblical stuff in the episode. That's an interesting take for sure. Yeah, be sure to let me know. But anywho, yeah, that's really all I wanted to go ahead and do for this episode. So yeah, I wanted so I'll go ahead and give y'all kind of the information if y'all want to keep in touch with the podcast. So you can, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can go ahead and click on the channel and go ahead click that subscribe button as well as the bell icon so that way you don't miss any future episodes over on YouTube or maybe update videos, because there's update videos that you'll only be getting here on YouTube. So you may want to subscribe for that, because last video I posted on here was actually update video number 2, which is where I said I'd be posting this at 5 p.m. today, but unfortunately I didn't get to do that because I'm recording it here and right now at 11:21. So yeah, there's also the option where you can also watch and listen to it over on Spotify. We have the video and audio version over there as well. And if you want to go ahead and just listen to it without having to watch it while you're washing dishes, um, doing homework, or whatever you may be doing that you need to focus more on, then yeah, you can listen to the audio only version over on Pandora as well as Apple Podcasts. Of course, all you got to do is just search up Hooked on Jesus podcast on any of those platforms to find it. Also, one last thing I want to go ahead and promote is the Hooked on Jesus podcast Instagram, where I go ahead and post updates as well over there. Probably more often over there with updates and stuff than over here on YouTube and such. But yeah, you'll get, if you follow over there, you'll get to see behind the scenes posts. You'll get maybe photos with guests or different kinds of photos. Feel free to go check it out. All of these, by the way, will be linked in the description of each platform of where I post the episode on. So again, that'd be YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, and Apple Podcasts. All these links that you can go ahead and get in the description of each of the episodes. But yeah, I just want to go ahead and thank y'all for listening or watching to episode 9. It's been a long time coming. It's definitely something I've been really trying to get around to, but like I said, I've just been getting distracted with a lot of different things. So yeah, again, I wanted to thank y'all for watching and listening to this episode of the Hooked on Jesus podcast. Just feel free to stick around for it, funny stories, Bible studies and cool stuff as well. So yeah, I hope each and every one of y'all have a blessed day or night wherever you may be, and God bless, and remember, Jesus loves y'all.